Thank you so much for being here on such a beautiful, almost winter day. We are so fortunate to live in this absolutely exquisite climate. My name is Robin Dozier Otten, and I have the pleasure of being the director of the Family and Community Services Department for the City of Albuquerque. And it is my real honor to welcome all of you to the ribbon cutting for the newest success of a wonderful community partnership, the Caspian Apartments. The Department of Family and Community Services has a long-standing commitment to help provide affordable rental housing so that individuals and families can live in safe and decent homes. The department also has worked to revitalize areas of Albuquerque that are in need of improvements to reverse the decline of aging infrastructure. Under our Neighborhood Stabilization Program, the Office of Neighborhood Revitalization has been responsible for the purchase and renovation of over 93 apartment units that were in the process of foreclosure. That is really an amazing accomplishment. 70% of all these renovated apartment units will be rented to individuals or families making incomes of less than 50% of the area median income. These affordable housing units have been acquired and repaired using a combination of federal funds through the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the city's dedicated affordable housing funds. I'd like for you to meet those at the Office of Neighborhood Revitalization who have worked so hard to make celebration like today's possible. So when I call your name, please stand up so everyone can see you. Valerie Vargas, Manager of the Office of Neighborhood Revitalization. Thank you, Valerie. Jackie Chavez, Neighborhood Stabilization Program Specialist. Marie Chavez, Homeowner Rehabilitation Program Manager. Karen Dunning, NSP Consultant. Judy Garcia, Senior Administrative Assistant. And Monica Montoya, Neighborhood Stabilization Manager. I'd be very much remiss if I didn't introduce and thank Doug Chaplin, who is serving the dual roles of Associate Director of the Family and Community Services Department and Division Manager of the Community Development Division, which includes the Office of Neighborhood Revitalization. Thank you so much, Doug, wherever you are. The Caspian Apartments will be managed by the developer, TNC Management, LLC, and it will be certified as a crime-free multiple housing apartment. The renovation used the latest technology to ensure energy efficiency. The quality of the improvements are designed to make the units easy to maintain for the tenants and also very safe for them. This public-private partnership spurred redevelopment of an additional 32 units in the International District here that were acquired and renovated with private funds. So you see that we are using both your federal and your city funds in a way that leverages other funds and attracts other developers. So that's really a wonderful thing. I'd like now to present to you Mayor R.J. Berry, Mayor of the City of Albuquerque. Mayor Berry.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Without it? All right. I'm going to put it down here then. Well, thank you, Robin. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. What a beautiful day. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thanks to our first responders who are joining us today as well, from the Albuquerque Police Department, the Fire Department. Let's give them a hand. Like any great project that we have, there's a lot of thank yous to go around. I want to acknowledge a few people as we get started here. Our City Council President, Trudy Jones, is with us today. Thank you, Councilor Jones. Certainly to Chuck Sheldon and all the folks from TNC. It's nice to see you when we come to these events. I see some familiar faces, and so it's nice to see you here. Of course, Robin and her group, you guys do a great job. Doug, thank you so much as well. Our family and community department really does a lot of great work in the city of Albuquerque, from our Albuquerque Heading Home project for the chronically homeless, through great public-private partnerships like you're seeing here today. They do a lot of important work for the citizens of Albuquerque, and they just do a really good job at it. So thank you, everybody from family and community. Certainly Valerie Vargas as well, and then Monica Montoya and your entire staff, thank you for all that you do for neighborhood revitalization. We also have Frank Padilla and some of his staff here from HUD. Frank's been a great partner, really kind of a mentor to me, if you will, as a mayor. He's explained to me, and as a new mayor, you try to understand how some of these things work because you haven't seen them throughout your private sector career necessarily, and even as a state legislator. Did not have a lot of experience with some of these things. Still don't put myself in any kind of an expert category, but Frank and his staff have done a great job of coming in, having really good, candid conversations with us about what's going well, what needs to get better, how we can team up on other projects. And I know we've got some exciting things that we're working on in addition to this project today. So Frank, thanks again for all of your efforts. And there's others that I don't want to miss anybody, but I know I saw Charles Bennett here earlier. Charles is right over here. Great advocate for La Mesa Community Improvement Association, for the Trumbull Village Association. Does a great job, and I'm trying to go. Is that Nancy's here as well? So nice to see you guys. Thanks for your advocacy and all that you do for this great part of the city of Albuquerque. We talk a lot about being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We talk a lot about doing good things for our community. This is an excellent example of what a public-private partnership can be. It can be a project that has outstanding results for the community. It can be a project that creates jobs, that creates comfortable and affordable living for our citizens, and that can bring economic development. And I think Robin really hit on one of the key points earlier. We try to take your tax dollars and put them into investments that then also spur private sector investments. So if we can make smart public sector investments that spur private sector investments, that's what we like. I know the Apartment Association is here with us today. It's good to see. I'm seeing all these familiar faces. I'll get to you as we go through the process. Thanks for being here. But this is a great example of that. In 2010, this 20-unit complex was really in bad shape. It suffered from deferred maintenance, and it was only 35% occupied. And anytime we have unoccupied buildings in the city of Albuquerque, that's a recipe for not good things. And so we want to make sure we have a thriving occupancy in these buildings. Unfortunately, at that time, the owner had passed away, and the bank had started the foreclosure proceedings. Meanwhile, under a public-private partnership, the city began soliciting bids from developers to acquire and rehabilitate foreclosed properties as part of our neighborhood stabilization efforts. As a result, the city was able to enter into contract, as we have on other occasions, with T&C Management, and the property was acquired and renovated last fall. The community came together. I know that Charles and everybody on that side of it really has been a great involvement in this as well. And now the vast majority of these units will be rented to families earning less than 50% of area minimum income, and the units will stay affordable through time. And I think that's really, really important. Of course, with the energy efficiency, anytime you renovate a building, we can bring energy efficiency into the equation. We can certainly make a property, and as T&C has done, that's much more attractive for the neighborhood, and that really makes a big difference as well. And as Robin said, it has spurred the acquisition and renovation of an additional 28 units within the International District, solely utilizing private sector funds as well. So now there are 60 newly renovated units in the International District, helping to reverse declines that have happened in the area over time. And this area of town is an area, if you come here, is really improving on almost a daily basis. You can drive through the International District and see something good happening, thanks to advocates, thanks to public-private partnerships. And this is really how government should work. I think it should work with all of us working together. So thank you, each and every one of you, for being here today, for helping us make this happen. The city, of course, provided $1.3 million of city affordable housing funds. The Department of Housing and Urban Development provided $379,000 in CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funds. The property now has 3-bedroom units, which are in great demand by families in the area. And over the next 15 years, the property will need to be maintained to meet these federal housing standards, ensuring tenants continue to have a decent, safe, and a wonderful place to live. So I'm just really thrilled. I'm really thrilled just seeing everybody that came together to make this happen. And thanks for letting me come by today and just say a few words. Councilor Jones, Madam President, you want to say anything at all? Say just a couple of things, and then we'll get to some ribbon cutting here.
Great.
We'll go from there.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks for your partnership.
Well, I was planning to introduce
Oh, right,
you
I'll
because
stand
you
here.
have been my friend for so many years, and it is wonderful to see you leading the city council in your very calm and very professional way, and I appreciate it so much. Now to our next honored guest, Council President Trudy Jones. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. I'm sure I don't need that either because I have a husband, so I practice yelling quite a bit. and Robin was kind enough to say how calm I am, but when I go home at night after council meetings or after working on some of these things, again, my dear husband understands how hyper and uncalm I can be at certain times. So I just want to say what a magnificent project this is and what a great thing it is for the city and the communities that we can bring this type of housing to your community and revitalize. It's a wonderful thing for the city. It's a wonderful thing for you as a community. And then I have to tell just a little secret. I have known both T and C for years, and I know things that you might want to know if they ever get so. Just give me. So again, thank you for coming out. Wonderful, wonderful project. Thanks for all of you people. I saw you scrambling around here this morning trying to do the final touches. And thanks for our first responders. Good luck. I hope we can bring many, many more of these to your community. Thank you, Mayor.
We've got a couple more people to.
Oh, we do?
talk.
Well, I almost said-
Yeah, yeah. I'm very glad to welcome our stalwart federal partner, Mr. Frank Padilla, who's Director of Community Planning and Development from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Thank you so much for being here today, Frank.
I suppose since neither the councilor and the mayor use the microphone, that I won't use the microphone either.
It's the trend.
That's the trend, yeah. Well, my staff tells me that I have a loud voice anyway, but let me, again, I want to thank you and welcome you to this great development on behalf of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Before I get into I'm just going to make a very few comments, but let me just introduce my staff also that work with the city. First of all, Monica Gonzalez, who is the individual responsible for the oversight of the funds from HUD to the city. Stephanie, and I have to remember her new name. She just got married, Herrera, and Stephanie, and we just stole Stephanie from the state of New Mexico. And then my trusty, loyal assistant, Kelly Ramirez. And so, again, I just want to thank the city and the and TNC management, Chuck, for all the hard work you folks put into this development. And certainly on behalf of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, it's always a privilege and an honor for us to come out here to the ribbon cuttings of these types of developments. You know, as I was coming into the neighborhood, I noticed right away, you know, what a difference this property is making here in the neighborhood, and really that's the reason that the Department of Housing and Urban Development was created back in 1965 to deal with issues surrounding poverty and surrounding some of these hard-hit areas that we need to again commit ourselves to redeveloping. And the city, the Department of Family and Community Services, Robin and her staff have done an outstanding job at doing this and being good stewards of, as the mayor alluded to, federal dollars. And Mayor, you know, your leadership there at the city has certainly not only improved the services that the city provides, but certainly I know with the federal dollars that you deal with from the department, you know, we couldn't be any happier with your performance, and we thank you for that, Mayor. And this is an example of the type of partnerships that we like to see at the department between the federal government, the local government, and the private sector. And so again, I just want to congratulate the city, congratulate you, Chuck, on a wonderful project. And again, thank you for having me out here this afternoon. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Chuck Shelton, President of TNC Management, LLC, who
bring my own.
You brought your fan club, and good for you. I think everybody here is a member of your fan club.
Thank you very much. You know, and I'll make my words pretty short. I think that welcoming and thanking to work with your staff, Rob, and the support we have to go through and get some of these things done and cut to the chase, because that's really what we have to do. One of the things I want to do is recognize all the contractors that have worked with us. And you know, one of the things I've asked them to do and to make these fit into an economic footprint that we have to work with is everybody works within a 1 or 2% margin. There is not a big margin. And so everybody is real thrifty. Everybody gives of themselves, gives of their time to be able to do this. And that's remarkable. When we first started, we had people say, you know, you have to make 10, 12%. I said, if you're not working, 10% of nothing, it doesn't mean much. So we get people working, and we've put together a lot of folks. We have, you can see our staff has grown over time, and we have, you know, somewhere just about 50 folks that work on these projects and maintain them. We have, I want to introduce some key people on our staff that really do some things. Anna, would you stand up? She handles our accounting and keeps us pretty straight. And Mayor, you know, in construction, if you're not taking care of the numbers, you're in trouble. Sylvia, she's our asset manager. And Roberta, where are you? Roberta handles the leasing of all our assisted living homes, and she does a tremendous job in staying on top of that and qualifying the people and making sure that, you know, they meet the needs. Mayor, you mentioned that we would be at 70%. I think we're about 95% of all our units are 50% median income. The only reason that goes over is if somebody starts making a few more dollars. So we don't rent to anybody on to begin with that's over the 50%, because that way they'll get there. So I think that's a real key thing that we have. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce Manny and Alex. Where are you guys? Just raise up. You're our construction foreman, and I depend on them. And on Monday mornings, if things aren't going right, we have a conversation to get things on the right path, and they respond. You know, and then it takes all these people shepherding things to make sure these happen. They don't happen by ourselves. We mentioned, you know, that we have a public-private partnership. The city has invested $1.9 million. We have invested $1.5 million. So combined, we've changed this community by $3.5 million. That's what we put in here. Now, sometimes when we look at projects, we don't realize we are committed. We will be here. And our people are committed to making this a better community. I have to say that, you know, we work closely with Joe and code enforcement and the police. And I'll stop them on the street when I see things that aren't right and ask for their help to come in and work with us to get this cleaned up. This does take a village to support all the people around us, support these kinds of projects so we can maximize what we do. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be working with the city and key folks. There was a lady that retired, Elizabeth Dwyer. She's not here today, or at least I don't see her, that helped shepherd us to begin with and understand how to walk through and navigate the process. And you really have to have that. You know, we are able to help now the other way and go back and navigate, because we've been together now, and I think the first welcoming was in April of 2010. We did a small 3-unit building. We have done 90 units since that time. And so it's been a busy 2.5 years. We have another project that's on the drafting table on Atrisco. It's coming through planning. It's another 16 units, be new construction, and we'll add that into 16 units that are there for another quality project on the west side. I think I'd like to just mention a few things when we talked about the code and what we've been able to do in these units. An example, we haven't turned these on, so know what the efficiencies are. On Charleston, we finished some units. We opened them up. There was no insulation. We put insulation on them, changed the heating plants, insulated the roofs. We have several of our employees that live there, so I know these numbers. The utilities used to run about $125 to $140 a month. Currently, they run $50. So you talk about being green. And we do that so that enhances and cuts down the cost for those individuals living in these communities. In those one bedrooms we rent for $450 to $475. That's very economical living. These units behind us, they'll rent between $600 and $700 for a 3-bedroom unit. We've added 2 inches of insulation on the outside, bringing that to R17. We've changed the roof to R36, so that tightens that up. It's all new windows, all new electricity, split air handling systems that bring you refrigerated air as well as heat. And we look to those being very efficient. So we worked on the design of those to get that efficiency up. And so that's also been by the help of the contractors we've had, because we've gone through that engineering. Our architect, we sit down with them to look at these things to make sure that we're creating something and maximizing the dollars that we've been given us. Mayor, I want you to thank you for that. Without a lot more to do, just a no implementation schedule, we plan to have families move into this starting the 15th of December. So this is pretty much rent ready. We have a few punch lists, and those punch lists, with any construction, you walk around and you find other things that need to be tailored and taken care of, and so we're in the process of that. When we have the complete alarm and fire systems operational, which will be in 2 weeks, that's when we'll start bringing in folks. So this will be, and we'll look at this building over here is 225. That'll be ready next week. The one behind us on Dallas will be ready in 2 weeks, as well as 226 Dallas. So we're looking and aggressively pushing through this so people can move in prior to Christmas and make a nice home for them.
Well,